Yo, what's good? What's poppin'?
Yeah, y'all.
How we always say, Peg, welcome to 4th&1. Hey, now welcome. Hey, now listen. Hey, man, we here at the Super Bowl with it. Now listen, as we're talking, you have to understand that when this young man came into the NFL, it didn't look like this. You feel me? I present the time to introduce to us my man, Andre Reed.
What's up, man?
How you doing, bro?
I always wanted to be on your show. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. That little dance, that's pretty good there.
Welcome to 4th&1.
Welcome. Yeah, there you go. It's like we're in the living room. That's what you do.
There you go.
There you go. I'm good, man. I'm good. Down here, and like you said, it definitely like it used to be.
Right.
The game,
Bro, you look every bit of like 48.
Hey, y'all hear that? 48?
Yeah.
No.
With the
61.
You feel how much?
61.
Golly. 61, Peggy.
And he got his hair.
That's a good grade
and that's
too.
back in the day when I came in the league. Jerry curls were a thing.
Yeah. But you got the natural Jerry.
Natural. Yeah.
Bro.
Yes.
The state of the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. We can be here for 30 hours on that.
If you were Brandon Beane, the GM, and you had a decision or you had power to make something happen, what would you do different?
Oh, man. We need a receiver really bad. We need a guy that can change the game at a split second. We don't have that guy.
Omari Cooper?
He's not the game changer. He's not going to change the dynamic of the game. We need somebody that can stretch a field and can catch a 30, 40-yarder and keep drives going consistently more so Josh doesn't have to run around as much as he's going to do that anyway.
Right.
But he doesn't have to do that. They're not counting on him to do that. Yeah. We got a great running. I mean, James Cook is dope.
Yeah.
James Cook is really good. But I think a receiver at that position doing that kind of thing really changes the dynamic of what the Buffalo Bills do.
I've always wanted to ask this because being here in Super Bowl, you have so many discussions and talking points.
Yeah.
You went to the Super Bowl 4 times.
In a row, yep.
Straight, back to back. One after the other where you said, maybe we'll get him next year. Yeah. And then when you get there, it's like, man, listen, we'll get him next year. Being where you are now, looking back, it's a double-part question.
Yeah.
What would you have done different that you think would have gotten you?
Nothing.
Really?
I wouldn't have done anything differently because, first of all, 4 will never happen again. Second of all, that team I was on, I think it was the greatest team assembled during those 4 years. Third, there's 7 Hall of Famers from that team. Yeah, we didn't get it done when that's what this game's about, you know. But I wouldn't have traded that for anything.
Wow.
Because now it's 30-plus years ahead, and they're saying, man, wow, I wish I could have played in just 1.
Yeah.
I wish I could have got to 2.
That's good.
I wish I wouldn't have been sitting on the couch watching instead of playing.
Yeah.
I think our generation now definitely doesn't look at it that way. So I was blessed to even be in that position. So to say that I'm a failure because I didn't win a Super Bowl, I'm not even close to that.
Yeah.
You all there can think that stuff outside of this and say, you didn't do this, so you're this. That's what's wrong with this country. You got to let people do what they need to do and then make their assumption after that, regardless of what it is. So are you going to go to Bruce Smith and say that to him?
No.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just saw Thurman, my homie, Jim, all these guys that I grew up with, man. I became a man with those guys.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade that for anything.
But that's what, even with both of y'all, making it and not winning it, do you count it as an achievement? And then with losing it, because people don't see that part, right?
No.
How do you deal with that afterwards? So is it even an achievement just to make it, first of all? That's it.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's part of the game. I'm not going to go home every day and be like, oh, all of a sudden, we lost. Let me go walk in the freeway. I mean, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
We play this game because of that reason,
Right.
to go to a Super Bowl and win. That's why we go to training camp. That's why we do all those things. if it doesn't happen, there's always another year. And I think you got to look at it from that perspective, because there's guys that play in this game 10 years, ain't been to nothing.
Yes.
Not even a playoff game.
Playoff game.
That's true.
That's it, man. A good friend of mine, Brandon Marshall, he doesn't even know
B.
what.
Marsh is the man.
He doesn't even know what playoff football looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So playing meaningful football is one thing, but another thing too is like that still doesn't negate your greatness. I just had a discussion on First Take about who has the most pressure. Is it the Philadelphia Eagles, a team who's trying to knock off
The Chiefs,
Goliath, or is it the Kansas City Chiefs?
What did he say?
Well, we had Shannon and we had obviously Stephen A.
Yeah.
And Dan Orlovsky was like, "Yo, it's the Kansas City Chiefs." But
That's what I would have said too.
Why?
I think, first of all, ain't nobody really talking about the Eagles, because they're talking about a three-peat.
That's true.
That's all they're talking about
Can
here.
I give you my point?
They're talking about a three-peat. How do the Chiefs, they do win, are they up? Do they put that, they move them up another pedestal closer to the Patriots? They'll never be, they ain't going to be 7-time Super Bowl champs around here, one team.
You don't think so?
But, I mean, tell me what you were going to say.
I say it's the Eagles. The Chiefs are playing with house money. Because look at it like this. If they lose, are they not a great franchise? So
I mean, you're right there. You're right there. But I think the Super Bowl is all about them three-peating.
yeah. But here it is. I asked this question. You got to pick your poison, right?
Yeah.
The poison is, if you want to have the success of a team, what's impacted most would be the Chiefs. Because, boom, we want a three-peat.
Exactly.
If you're impacted from professional or personal, it's the Eagles, because now as Jalen Hurts, I don't want to be in the same bucket as Lamar Jackson. I don't want to be in the same bucket as Josh Allen. I don't want to be in the bucket of these guys that cannot beat not Joe Burrow, but Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
I want to be the guy that knocked him off. I want to be the Eli to Tom Brady.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that's a good analogy. Eli, Tom Brady.
Right.
Good analogy.
So with that, it's like, if the Kansas City Chiefs lose, we're looking at it like, okay, we knew that they were great. It is what they are trying to accomplish, nobody has ever done. Cool. That's not to say that they'll never get back to the Super Bowl. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the Eagles, they're looking at it from the lens of like, yo, we have the better team.
We got the better team. We want to be the dog
Yeah.
that finally eats, what we should be eating right now.
Right.
You got a great point there. Plus, they've been 2 years ago they played them here.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think that has the teams changed that much in 2 years.
But I got even a question, because you're talking about a hungrier dog, right? Which one weighs heavier? Someone that's hungrier or somebody that's more experienced in a game like this?
I think nowadays a hungrier one.
So
I think the hungrier dog, you don't want to mess with a hungry dog, man.
Willing to do anything.
Yeah.
so much has changed. You were drafted in what year?
1985.
1985. I was drafted in 2011. I went to the 2015 or 2016 Super Bowl.
I was there.
Trivia question.
Yeah.
Do you know who performed for your halftime?
Oh, that's a
Michael
good
Jackson?
one.
That was the first one?
No, the first one was Tampa. It was Whitney Houston.
Ooh.
Whitney Houston.
And I was from here to that pole,
You was watching
standing
it?
there watching her. Yeah.
What would you do at halftime?
This is before the game. She sang the national anthem.
Oh,
I'm talking about the halftime performance.
Oh, halftime was Michael Jackson.
But that was that the first year?
That was Pasadena. In Pasadena.
Okay.
I walked right past him and looked at him.
Out of
You
sight,
old
Mike.
school too. That-
Hold up.
He go look at him. What's up?
Cam, I went past. We were losing 13-7. When you were coming in, I was like, oh, and I go, it's Michael Jackson right there. And I went, and the dude looked like a mannequin. He didn't move. He was like this. He was ready to go, bro.
He was ready.
He was ready to go.
That's crazy.
And he had a heck of a halftime show there in
Yeah.
Pasadena. Yeah.
But you got three more.
Yeah, we had, let's see. I forgot who the next two we had. We were in the old Georgia Dome. And then The last one was in Pasadena, Georgia Dome, Minnesota. We played the Redskins.
Yeah.
The old Redskins in Minnesota at the old dome they had.
That's
there.
crazy. Man,
And
Andre.
they don't even have those no more.
I know.
Yeah.
That's real.
They don't got rid of the domes
They
too.
got rid of the dome.
Yeah. Andre, bro.
Yes, sir.
To be able to have accomplished what you've accomplished, some can only dream. And
You know, Cam, I look at it like this because we're here and we're doing our thing, and what we did, somebody else is gonna try to emulate.
That's real.
And I think that's the beauty of what this game gives to us as players, is that you forge your own path in this game, whatever that path is. However you want to be remembered in this game. Somebody came up to me today and said, "I remember you. I watched a game back in 1988." And I'm like, 88? I go, really? Like, I look at it that way, but 88 isn't really that long ago when it comes to, like, numbers. But when somebody says that to me, you know, I feel like I've done something in this game.
You did.
Well, you definitely done it. A lot of people can't say that they're a Hall of Fame football player, but you can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time, appreciate your grace, and understand that, bruh, I always try to pay homage or homage to the ones that came before
And
me.
that's, I think, that makes me feel good because I paid homage to somebody before me.
Yeah.
You know who my favorite football player was?
Who?
Lynn Swann.
The what?
And I wore 88 in college because of Lynn Swann. And somebody wore his 83 because of me.
Reed.
That's the beauty of what the game gives.
Yeah.
You see how big he is, Peggy? He ain't that damn big. Because you could
I
have
might
played.
got hope. I might get out there. Come on.
No, no, dog. When I played it about 200, 205.
Oh, see, shit.
But, okay, last
Little league
question.
for me.
Last
Back when they can hit you.
last question. When you watch the game today,
Yeah.
who do you appreciate more at the receiver position?
Ooh. Wow. I don't think it's not that I don't think there's a guy that does what I did.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it was Julian Edelman.
Ooh.
Jules.
Yeah.
Jules did what I did. And Tom Brady relied on that guy probably 80% of the time to keep the first down going. Keep the clock going and keep everything going. But you can't hit nobody. You can't hit nobody like that no more.
Wide receivers are softer these days. They don't play the game the same.
No.
More divas.
They don't have to.
Going across the middle was literally.
Dude, guess what? Ronnie Lott hit me one time. I thought I was in another area code.
Area code.
And he helped me up.
Get up.
That's crazy.
And then you seen Steve Atwater, right? You see Steve Atwater? This is the fear that those guys brought.
Yeah.
And I know during your days it was
Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor.
Ed Reed. Yeah.
Ed Reed. Those dudes will hit you, but that's over.
Yeah.
You can do that, but guess what?
Yeah.
They throwing
Flag.
two flags
Yeah,
at
keep
you.
in your pocket.
So the game, I would have played another 5-6 years for the game to be like that.
So nice.
But you know what? I played with great players. I was fortunate enough to play in a great organization. Yeah, we didn't win the big one, but I wouldn't trade that for anything.
That's what's up.
Say less, man. You heard it from himself, man. Andre Reed, appreciate you.
Thank
OG,
you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Sparks gets you ready fast, dissolving under your tongue and working in 15 minutes on average. No waiting, no missing the moment. Plus, it stays active up to 36 hours.
So when the mood hits, you could go back to back to back, round after round after round. Ro connects guys with medical provider 100% online. So there's no awkward conversation with in-person providers. Go to ro.com/sparks to see if you qualify. If prescribed, new sexual health patients gets $15 off Sparks on reoccurring plan. Connect with the provider at ro.co/4th to find out if prescriptions Ro Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/4th for $15 off your first order. If approved, treatment ships directly to their door. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, and or manufacturing review. For full safety information, go to roll.co/safety. Here with another episode of 4th and 1. And as we always say, Peggy, welcome to 4th and 1. Hey. Welcome. Here at the Super Bowl. And this one is a treat because we see now, or we understand now, what we saw and was inspired by. And this individual speaks to the person behind the person that sets the person up.
That's
right?
true.
Present to some, introduce to others, Mr. Leigh Steinberg. Now, for those who say, who? Thought you would never ask.
Yeah.
Leigh Steinberg has repped over 300 pro athletes, including 8 #1 overall NFL draft picks, more than any other agent. Represented Patrick Mahomes, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, Ben Roethlisberger, and Drew Bledsoe, among many others. Negotiated over $3 billion in contracts throughout his career. Served as an inspiration for the great movie, Jerry Maguire, one of the most famous sports movies of all time. Mr. Leigh, how are you?
And now the biggest honor of all, being on 4th and 1 with
Yes,
Cam
sir.
Newton.
Perfect. Now, being an agent, right? What's something that people don't expect your job to be?
It's listening skills. It's drawing out another human being until you understand their deepest anxieties and fears and their greatest hopes and dreams. So I need to be able to put myself into the heart and mind of another person and see it from their perspective. It doesn't matter how I feel, but how does Cam Newton feel about short-term economic gain, long-term economic security, family, spiritual values, being a starter, being on a winning team, endorsements, making a difference in the world. And so you have to thoroughly understand that person uniquely. It's how to fulfill them, not some generic player. So listening skills are really key. And then it's, can I encourage someone to be a role model? Will they go back to their high school community, set up a scholarship fund, go to the university, set up a program that gets them close to the alums, and then it's a pro foundation level, set up a charitable foundation that has the leading business figures, political figures, and community leaders on the board. So that's work done, putting the 200 single mother into the first family home they'll ever own by making a down payment. Or Mahomes with his 15 in the Mahomies, which helps kids. So and then it's setting up athletes for second career. It's thinking about from the very first day a path for them to get into business and not be the employee, but be the owner. And to get into broadcast or get into coaching or any profession that they choose, but you have to do the planning work before the end of the career so you're smoothly going. So Troy Aikman goes smoothly from his career into being a lead broadcaster.
So I was just want to ask you, even when we're talking about contract negotiations, what is the wildest contract negotiation you ever been a part of? What the craziest one?
There was a competing football league called the USFL way back in the day. And players don't have any real leverage today unless they're free agents. Teams control them. But when you have a new league and you can play the two leagues off against each other, so Steve Young was negotiating with the USFL, and we kept asking for more and more and more and more, and they kept adding things because he didn't want to sign in a new league, and finally it got to $42 million in 1984. Now that would be like $1 billion today, and so it was pretty wild. They endowed scholarship funds for him. They sent him to law school. They did anything you could think of.
So in this realm of NIL, right, from the players as young as high school athletes, they're still agents now that have to learn this dance of representation. How do you go in with the mentality, if I'm an agent, to, it's not always the mature 22-year-old, 24-year-old. Now it's as young as a 17-year-old kid. Does that change your whole approach?
It changes everything, Cam, because when NIL developed, no one anticipated that it would be used for high school to college recruiting. No one anticipated it would be the key to transfer portal, right? When you have a player at LSU who commits at quarterback and then all of a sudden he's offered $14 million to go to another school and he decommits, that changes everything. Much harder from my perspective to talk to that 15-year-old who's already being marketed and already wants to have deals. As a matter of fact, and it's a brave new world, because if you take someone like Mahomes, I thought it would be a good idea to not do any endorsements his first couple of years, prove himself out on the field, and then do them. Now, that's out the door when someone turns 15. Matter of fact, I think agents are going to go to maternity wards in hospitals looking for, big mothers.
Yeah. So, you've represented multiple players over, obviously, your tenure.
50 years.
2 questions. What sport provides the biggest headaches? And answer that one first, and then I'll go to the next one.
Basketball.
Basketball?
Basketball players are brought up not part of a team. They're brought up in AAU basketball. They're focused on when they're like 12 years old. They can already spot a great basketball player. Yeah. And a basketball player might call you every single day. A left tackle might call you every couple months if he remembers.
So, even with that, how did you get into the game of being a sports agent?
So I was going to UC Berkeley, Cal, and I was a dorm counselor in an undergraduate dorm. They moved the freshman football team in, and in 1975, the first player picked in the first round of the draft was a quarterback for Atlanta named Steve Bartkowski.
Right.
And he asked me to represent him. And it was the first thing I did after law school. And so we got the largest rookie contract in NFL history. And then I started with this role modeling concept, and like I said, by the end had done 64 first-round draft picks, and then did baseball and basketball, and we had practices in all the fields. But football, I had 90 players who, and we have 12 in the Hall of Fame who are like Troy Aikman, Steve Young, Warren Moon, Bruce Smith, Derek Thomas, Howie Long, on and on and on.
So I know we got to get you out of here, but first, before we get you out of here, can you tell us a little bit about your foundation? And we hear that you have a Super Bowl party, February 8th this week. So could you tell us about those 2 things?
So the Concussion Foundation, back in the 1980s, I'm representing half the starting quarterbacks. They keep getting hit in the head. Yeah. And we go to doctors and ask, how many's too many? What's the magic number? No answers. So I started holding concussion conferences, and we held the first one in '94, and Warren Moon and Steve Young and Aikman and Drew Bledsoe and all those guys came, and we got neurologists to talk about what it is. So I thought, if I put a charitable foundation together that raises money for research, also serves underserved communities with people who got those problems. The good news is we found 2 ways to rehabilitate a concussed brain. So the thought always was it will go downhill and it only gets worse, right? But now through neuroplasticity, you can do neural feedback, and that can rewire a brain, and you can do something called RTMS, and that will rewire a brain. And so those are big breakthroughs. The party is our 38th. Okay. It's we're almost at 40 years of parties. Wow. It's big business, politics, sports, entertainment. We give humanitarian awards to, we're giving one to Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, and one to Sean Payton. We do a brain health summit with people from across the country. We do a brain body lounge for treatments like hyperbaric oxygen, stem cell, red light, blue light. And we're raising money for National Urban League, and we hope to move a family on Saturday into the first home they'll ever own by giving them the money for the down payment and moving them in.
Man, Mr. Leigh, man, appreciate your time, appreciate your insight, as well as appreciate your impact to this game.
Sure.
Mr. Leigh Steinberg, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? Ladies and gentlemen, this ain't the itty bitty little teeny tiny bowl. What is it? It's the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Big players make big plays, and now you can cash in on every single one of them. Bet touchdowns at DraftKings Sportsbook and take your shot at winning big. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 4th. That's code 4th for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after insurance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Hey.
Oh, y'all got a little saying going on.
Yeah. Now welcome.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. You still here with us, Peggy?
We here, bro. Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Tighten up, man.
Come on now. Come on.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, so we got Garret Wallow, man. Thank you for stopping in with us,
Yeah, I appreciate
bro.
that, no doubt.
So, man, we got rapid fire. So much stuff going on in the NFL, but even outside of NFL.
Yeah, no
so
doubt.
I don't know if you know, Luka got traded for AD.
Yeah, crazy.
Right? So if you had to give me an NFL version of what that trade would be like, of two players that's in the NFL right now, of that magnitude of a trade, who would you go with?
Man, boy, you hit me with a rapid fire for sure. I'd say that's like, for me, I think since Luka's such a young talent, and he's 25 years old, you trading for another 35-year-old player, you know, obviously a good player, but that's like a big-time quarterback like Patrick Mahomes going to another team out the blue.
Yeah, because somebody had references of like Jamar Chase versus Mike Evans. Obviously, Mike Evans is still a primetime receiver, but Jamar Chase is a younger primetime receiver. So
absolutely. I think that's a better comparison for sure. But I think when you come, you're definitely right. But I think when I'm thinking about it from just like the shocking standpoint, I don't think anybody see that coming.
Favorite player in the NFL?
Shoot, I'm in the NFL, so I say myself. But the people that I look up to for sure, bro. I say
me.
Hey, you gotta walk like that. But I say a player I look up to for sure. I like Fred Warner's game for sure. Yeah.
Bro, somebody asked me that.
Yeah.
And I will always say it was Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Even though Julio was in my division, I always loved how Julio played, dominant, and it looked like he worked.
Yeah.
Being in this position of us, it's like, yo, as athletes, as alphas, you know what it's like being in that locker room.
Yeah.
And you ask the question, no matter what year you in, can you be a leader of men?
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I dig it.
As you grow in this league, how do you counsel the younger players?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I learned from the older guys who counsel me. So Christian Kirksey, for example, when I was young, went to Houston, he took me under his wing, showed me the right way of doing things, and like that's when you look at a leader. In my eyes, that's who a leader's supposed to be. Right. Keeps the locker room together, great dude. You ain't never really gonna see him spaz on nobody, and just does everything the right way. And that's the reason why I said Fred Warner, because from the outside looking in, like he's one of them dudes that who step on the field, like this dude's about his business. And in the game, as a professional, like Cam, like you respect that. Yeah. It's a lot of respect there. So I think, as I've grown and been around these people, whenever I get the opportunity to pour into these young guys, especially when like coming in from all these different areas, these NIL and things like that, you know, just want to bring them back and like, look, this is what's most important in this position right now. Like, don't lose focus of that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So we know that you had a pectoral injury that sidelined you for 2024.
Yeah, tough, dog.
Now as you work your way back, like what's your mentality and like what do you want to prove when you get back on the field?
Yeah, dog. You know, for the first couple of years, I say I let expectations of other people drive me in certain areas. And so I think this time away, I've had the ability to reflect and, you know, get to lean on like, no, when I come back, like, man, I'm doing this for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, to prove myself right. And also, like, man, I'm living up to my standard, not to somebody else's expectation, dog. Because when I was away from the game, like, man, trust me, like, it was a good year of reflection with me. I had a lot of time to spend with my family, but I got to realize, dog, in my everyday life, them coaches not in my everyday life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so it's allowed me to really, you know, take a step back and, like, realize what's really important. So this next go-around, however many years I can do left, dog, it's going to be for me and my people. You know what I'm saying?
Can I give you some advice?
100%.
This is my last thing. How long have you been playing this game?
In the league, sure, I've been playing my whole life.
No. Like, when did you start playing football?
Probably was around 6 years old.
I started playing football when I was 7.
Yeah.
I stopped playing when I was 32.
Yeah.
You don't give yourself enough credit of understanding how reliant you are for something.
No doubt.
Like Peggy, a good friend, and he's covered me, and now we have this banter of a brotherhood.
Yeah. And
even for him seeing it, it's like, I didn't know any. It's almost like that Friday Night Lights moment.
Yeah, no doubt.
So to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
And I always tell players, get your routine.
Yeah.
Get your off-season routine. The off-season routine has to mimic what you're gonna do after football.
Yeah, that's real.
So I was just floating like, hold on, bro. I'm supposed to be like July. Last weekend of July, you know, you're in training camp.
You get ready to go, yeah.
So for me now, it's like, how can I take the things that football's taught me and now implement it in my personal realm?
Yeah.
Because now when football is gone, not to say that you don't have football left.
Oh, no doubt, yeah. It's a reality
I'm saying
of it.
It's realizing like, yo, I have to implement those things because ain't nobody gonna give a fuck.
Yeah, no, that's real, dog. Yeah. Nah, I appreciate that. I'm taking that for sure.
Yes, sir.
Nah, I appreciate
Peggy,
that.
you good?
Man, I'm great, bro.
Man, I appreciate y'all for real.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Bro, appreciate you. Appreciate your energy. Appreciate your insight, dog. And understand, like, your limits is only somebody else's fear that they can project on you, dog.
Yeah, that's real, dog.
Rooting for you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. Love.
One of the biggest challenges for employers is hiring fast. But sorting through endless applications makes it tough. Well, if you're an employer that can relate, I have one question for you. Have you tried ZipRecruiter? ZipRecruiter has figured out how to solve this very problem. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter can get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Cam Newton. With ZipRecruiter's smart technology, your job gets in front of qualified candidates immediately. No waiting, no hassle. So relax, employers, and let ZipRecruiter speed up your hiring. See for yourself. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/Cam Newton right now to try it for free. That's the same price of a genuine smile from a stranger, a picture-perfect sunset, or a cute dog licking your hand. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Cam Newton. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. CO/audio. Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? Here with another episode of 4th&1. Peggy, I'm in for a treat with this.
Oh my goodness.
But we gotta start it right. Welcome to 4th&1. Hey.
Welcome.
Now, if anybody knows me the most, who done took chances on me the most, who's seen the good, the bad, the ugly the most, this man's seen me go from a boy to a man, right? My coach, Coach Ron Rivera.
I'll tell you what.
Riverboat.
With an introduction like that, it's going to be hard to live up to it because I'm telling you, you had a lot to do with it. I mean, you were special. And it's funny because I've had a few guys say thank you for taking a chance on me, and truthfully, it wasn't a chance. No. Okay, Luke said it to me. Christian McCaffrey said it to me. You said it to me. Those weren't chances. You guys were who you guys were when you showed up. And just so you understand it, you had a lot to do with it too, just like those guys did. You guys are special, man.
Man, I mean, I'm going off, like this is, I don't even need no questions because I see a situation where, what was the best part? And I asked this before, but I'm going to ask you, what was the best part of the Carolina run?
Was the brotherhood, okay? The way you guys took care of you guys, okay? The way you guys took ownership of the football team. That's how I knew we were going to win in 2015. We were going to be, I mean, we'd love to win the Super Bowl, but 2015 really showed me as a coach how gratifying it was to watch a team come together and take ownership. One of the greatest examples of ownership was when you and Josh Norman had your disagreement. Okay? You guys had a disagreement.
Right.
Okay?
Man. Right.
Okay? And you guys took it to the next level. Your teammates jumped in, and you know how I get every now and then. Right. I was ready to get that way, and the boys said, no, we'll take care of it. And remember, did I ever say anything about it?
No, sir.
I never did, because you guys, no, they did. No, it was, and I was ready to let no, but the players came up and said, Coach, we got this, and he said, we're good.
Because you was about to get on them.
No, there's not, like, this demeanor. There was, I could count on once or twice when he really got ticked off. He would always, hey, kiddo, how you doing, kiddo? You know, outside of the race, everything about Ron Rivera says mild. Smooth, calm. Hey, kiddo, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. Like what are you doing? Put your knee pads in. Well, where's your shoulder pad? I'm like, Coach, I'm a quarterback. I don't have to wear my. So, you sure? Are you being that right? Yo. But the thing that I always respect about Coach was he let me be me.
Okay, there's a story about that because remember, I had to learn, and he taught me a hell of a lesson. It's one of the greatest lessons I learned in coaching was from Cam Newton. Okay, and it was one of those times where Cam was being Cam. He was having a rough week. I mean, because he everything to him was personal. He wanted to win, and he wanted to be perfect. And when he wasn't, he put himself down. He's the one who critiqued him. And so he was. So I went up to him one day, and I was really pissed at him. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Just for once, why can't you be like, And he goes to me, what, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees?" And he said, "Coach, I can't." And he pointed at his skin, and it made me realize that Cam, he said, "Coach, I got to be who I am. I can't conform. I want to be who I am and show people that you can be who you are and be who I am today." And it made me realize that he carried a huge burden because he was setting the example for young men to follow him. Wow. So at that point, that never became an issue with me. And what was my saying? If you can if you can be who you are, keep your personality, and live within our framework, you can play for us. And he always used to remind me, "Coach, I'm just keeping my personality."
He gonna remind you
no,
of that,
for
though.
sure.
No.
But that's so important now, because one of the greatest things that Coach has taught me, it taught a lot of us, that I still apply even in business: control your inner ape. That's your attitude, that's your preparation, and that's your effort. And when you think about it, you can apply it in business. Nobody wants to be around no sulking Sam. Like, bro, it's a privilege to be here, bro. Like, it's a privilege to be at 4th&1 Iconic Soccer Production. Like, it's a privilege, right? Your attitude, your effort. It's like, bro, are you prepared? You see what I'm saying? Like, it may not be effort like showing up on film. It's certain things that still translate, right? Preparation. All these type of things that I'm saying that I've learned in Carolina, where I was a boy going there, and I did not know, I said this earlier on somebody else's platform, I did not know how to be a good teammate. Because understand this, Peg, when I got drafted #1 overall, my tenure looked like this in the 4 years. I was at University of Florida for 2 years.
Okay.
I was a backup. I was the man at JUCO. We won a national championship. I go to Auburn for 1 year, won a national championship. So I was nowhere for more than 2 years. So when I went to Carolina, people are like, yo, like, I taught myself, I don't know how to have a real relationship because I'm not gonna be here long.
Yeah.
When I got to Carolina, they invested the resources for me to be there and to feel comfortable. I didn't know how to accept that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my defense mechanism when we lost wasn't to talk it out.
Yeah.
My defense mechanism was, man, fuck this shit. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Quiet was my defense mechanism because 2 years at university, I really wasn't playing. We knew that.
Yeah.
When I went to JUCO, we lost 1 game.
Yeah.
Just imagine what I was like after that game.
Yeah.
Auburn, we never lost. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I'm not used to losing.
no, I'm not used to losing.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
So there, it's like, just imagine trying to coach somebody, and I don't even know how to explain. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to being somewhere this long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was really hard for me, and also with me, my comfortability is relaxed.
Yeah.
Like even as we welcome to 4th&1, like that's me on the field.
Yeah, I got a transmitting back. Yeah.
And then even that, like people were like, "Yo, how's he able to do this?" That was how I focused. It's like toxic, but that was how I focused.
You know, when you talk about focus, and this is what's interesting. I used to pop around from meeting room to meeting room, and I walked in one time in the meeting room. Coach Shula had the film going. He was sideways, upside down in his chair watching it. Okay. And I walked. No, he was. Dude had his legs up, his head down, watching tape.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't say a word. I just sat there and watched. So we get, I walk out. They finish up the meeting. Mike comes up to me and says, "Coach, just so you know," I said, "Mike, I believe you. I trust you." Okay. He was trying to. I know I did. So we get out on the field. Now we're going through practice. Mike walks up to me and goes, "This is the play that Cam was upside down watching tape on, Coach. Watch." And it basically was a high-low concept. It was a flat 7, and the corner was going to drop, and he was either going to play high or low. We were going to work off of that. So the play happens. It's a combination where we're going to again tack the corner. He throws the 7 route, completes it, big catch.
Yeah.
And as he walks by me, he goes, "Just so you know, it was a high-low combination. I was reading the corner. Corner was low, so I threw it high." I just kept going.
But that though, it's like a head coach and a quarterback, like the captain. It's almost like a marriage, right?
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
it
like
is.
even being when Cam was talking about he would just warm up, just being in training camp or at practice, watching you two is 2 different dynamics. Like you got Cam, play my music. He over here jumping. Coach Rivera got his whistle, just kind of
Cut the music down.
yeah, just
Turn it down,
assessing the
son.
field.
Turn it down.
But
in the locker room, turn it down.
Cam has speakers by his locker blasting.
Oh,
but you
goodness.
two had to understand and build like a certain type of synergy for the overall team to win. And how important is that for you to be on the
It's
same
very
page?
important, and he understood that too, because you know what? He showed me respect. When I asked him to turn it down, he would turn it down.
Yeah.
As soon as I'd leave, he'd turn it up.
You go.
But that was what people didn't. What they knew because of
Right.
the longevity.
Yeah.
Being in a place for more than a decade, that's a blessing.
That's true.
Yes.
Because you got so many one and done situations. I took it so personal. I remember in 2013, we played. This was the game that turned our season around. We played the New York Giants, and they would always do player introductions. And after the player introductions, they will call, and the head coach for the Carolina Panthers, your head coach, Ron Rivera, boo! Like you looked around and you sense it. One of my routines before every game, I will always do the national anthem next to coach.
Yep.
That was our thing. Like, yo, man, the fuck, who are you? Move, watch out. Like this is my spot. He knew I took pride. Every time you knew I was gonna stand next to coach, and it was just that understanding. That's all I asked as a player. Don't try to change me.
Yeah.
Just allow me to be me. When they booed, I took it personal. We were 1-3 at that time. We finished the season at 12-4. So, and he went on to win Coach of the Year.
Yes, I did.
Those type of allegiances was where a player and a coach bond supersedes the game.
Yeah.
And I could not if I could pay for it, it's like, yo, coach, man, thank you for allowing me to be. You don't, it's not that type of transaction. It's like, yo, my shoulder bump. Coach, I'm going to give you everything I got. Yo, coach, I'm sleepy, I'm tired. Man, I'm still going to show up to work. Man, yo, you want me to be at 250? I'm going to be at 250. That's the professionalism about that relationship because he's earned that type of route, that type of respect. So as I learned how to pay my homage and respect to the city of Charlotte, Mr. Richardson, God rest his soul, you know, Coach Rivera, so many different people played a role in knowing, like, you just got to let Cam be Cam. And in return for me, I was willing to go beyond what people would think I would do because it was that important. I was Marty Herney, that was his name, who guys who understood me. I wasn't your prototypical, you know, vending machine selection.
Yeah.
I wasn't that. I was the guy like, bro, I'm not gonna talk to you in the morning. They knew. It's like, bro, he's here. I was the guy on the media room, like just walking up and just like watching film like this. But I was
like, oh my
I was
gosh,
locked in for a long time. They was like, yo, what is this?
Yeah.
But they never changed, and I owed it to them to take it serious enough to retain what they was teaching me.
You know, and he's right about his retention was phenomenal. He would repeat my meeting verbatim, word for word.
Yeah,
okay, and you know, and he would tell me too. He said, "Yeah, you didn't think I was paying attention, did you?" I said, "Well, I was wondering for a second." I said, but then he would just repeat it, and that's what was really there. People got to understand that people have personalities, people have ways they do things. Okay, look at his personality now. He is who he is.
Yeah.
You accept people for who they are, all right, not who you want them to be.
Yeah.
We want everybody to be the way we see people. You can't have that. You have to have variety, and that's what he brings. He brings variety.
Man, listen, I had to ask this question because I was angry. The competitor in me was angry. Why didn't y'all come get me?
We had
in Washington, right?
Yeah,
Washington.
when I went to Washington, they had just drafted Dwayne Haskins in the first round the
Right.
year before. So we had no OTAs and we had no mini camp to know what we had. So when we went into training camp, our thought process was, we got to see what we have, okay? And, well, we didn't have the preseason.
Right.
So then we get into regular season, and then you sign with New England.
Yeah.
And then that was it. We figured, okay, he's gone.
Yeah.
And so we stuck with what we had, and then you ended up finishing the season on IR, I believe, with New England, and then you went back again.
Right.
At that point, we were done.
Yeah.
You know, it was, okay, we got to get this going. We went and spent all that money on trying to find the quarterback.
Yeah.
And we had already paid for the next quarterback.
Did it cross your mind though? Like, was it
absolutely.
in discussion?
It did all the time. We did, but each time when it was, okay, we went after a guy, Fitzpatrick. He gets hurt, but you had already signed again.
Right.
So
Wentz. Was that did y'all go get Carson Wentz?
yes, Carson Wentz 2 years later
Yes.
when we did that.
So even like when I was saying to myself during free agency, right? So for those who always ask the question, how did that happen? I think like full transparency and full vulnerability, how it happened was not on my terms.
Right.
It was like you're being invaded with like, yo, this where we at. I understand the business.
Yep.
Certain things that you do as a franchise player, you're numb to thinking. I've witnessed so much. I never thought to fear cut day.
Yeah.
Until you get cut.
Yeah.
I got cut, man. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, hold up. Last third preseason game, you know it's happening. My oblivion thought I would never get cut until I went into New England and they said, hey, hold on. Coach Rivera, not Coach Rivera, Coach Belichick wants to see you. What the fuck you want to see me for? And lo and behold, it's happening. And as he's talking to me, I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Like, are you saying I'm the backup or are you saying, I literally had to ask Coach Belichick, like, yo, are you releasing me?
Yeah.
He was like, yes, Cam, we are releasing you. I was so above, I thought I was above that happening. But what you have to understand is when you go in and you come into the NFL, you get to see every phase of it.
Very few people get to leave on their terms. Trust me, I've been through it too as well. I mean, I've gone through some of the toughest situations coaches can be in. I've been through 2 ownership changes. I went through a lockout. I went through a COVID, and people don't realize that you will experience, as Cam's saying, the highs and the lows of the game. I was cut too at one point as a player. I mean, it happens. I've been fired as a coach. And it's the reality and it's the business of football. And if you take anything personal and you let it stick in your craw for too long, you get sour. And so people have to understand that things happen because they happen quickly. They don't necessarily happen the right reasons. They don't have the correct reasons, or they don't happen at the right time. And when the timing is not right, I've had twice been told by a different owner that, gosh, if you had been let go a year ago, we could have worked, No, seriously, and I've been told that. But it didn't work that way. So you miss timing, and that's the thing that gets you.
Timing is everything. I look at a situation, too, where even my injuries, none of my injuries happen by me taking a hit. That's what people don't understand. Like my lens, Frank, that was in the 3rd preseason game in New England, and it was a step. It was a contact injury, and I made a step. And I remember coming off the field like, yo, something happened. I thought my shoestring popped on my cleats. And then I shared the story with my shoulder. I took so much flack from the Super Bowl for not jumping on that fumble that I had threw an interception that ended up coming back, getting called back. I chased this dude all the way down just off of the fear of being critiqued like Cam don't care about football. And I tried to push him out of bounds, and I hyperextended my shoulder. That's how my shoulder got fucked up. Everything else, how people describe my gameplay, is the biggest amount of BS because I always deliver blows on my turn. You feel me? It wasn't like, oh man, you could be a Cam Newton where, you get injured and you do all these different things. It's like, yo, I was always the hammer because I was able to slide because I'm still a quarterback.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I never really took any type of punishment that I didn't want to dish out because of the smartness of that. I remember coming into the league where I didn't even know how to slide. But we was having sliding meet times in practice. It was like, yo, you got to learn how to slide. I did. I was just diving.
Made you nervous.
I was just diving in
Just made me very nervous.
Man.
Every time I saw
my God!
No, just the attempt.
And it gets better.
Oh, here's one. Special.
Yes.
All right, what are we talking about? Hold on.
Are you ready?
Yeah, just don't crack my back. Don't crack my back. Don't crack my back. Don't crack my back. Oh, you cracked my back. What's up, buddy? I've given Ron 5 hugs already this weekend. What's up?
Bro, we're reminiscing.
Oh, let's do that. I love reminiscing. What are we talking about?
Oh, and there's Stu.
Oh my God.
I see this guy a lot. He's one of my assistant coaches.
Hey,
Head coach.
GM.
Wow.
We're working on that. Nah, we're working get that correct.
Who's sitting here, huh?
You.
Dude, sit.
Come on. Over here. Come on over here.
Dude, jump in.
Sit. We were talking just as the commonality of coach allowing me to be me, right? And
I think that's fair.
I think
Very much so.
I think from the offensive side, you have I'm about to say Derek Anderson. You got Greg Olsen here who understood. It's like what we grew into was something that, dare I take shine from somebody else, but what I see Travis Kelce doing, it's hard for me not to mention you.
Oh, yeah.
Walking into a situation, too, where he's the silent assassin, where it's like, just give Stu the ball. And he would do some of the most quirkiest celebrations, and he just turned into like the Hulk. He's like, ah. And I'm like, bro, this guy's a animal. People don't understand our chemistry, right? And it's sad that we were living in a time where it literally was the good old days.
Yeah.
Yep. It was.
You know what they say? You don't know you're living the good old days until it's gone.
God, bro.
Hindsight is a blessing, though.
Yeah.
It is a
Until you
blessing.
look back. I would say the greatest strength of our group, like our best years, I mean, obviously we had a lot of good players, but the point you made about the chemistry, the locker room, our best workers were our best leaders, our best players were our best people, our coaches, Ron's ability and the rest of the staff. It really started with Coach Rivera, like the balance between empowering personality, but also saying, okay, but it has to work within the confines of the team. We can't let it get completely out of control. And I think when we were at our best, it was that balance between individuality, camaraderie, fellowship, right? We used to throw that around a lot, right? Like the fellowship and the camaraderie of the team was such a vital part, even more so than what plays we ran or how fast we ran or how many yards we threw for or whatever. Like, I think that was really the special sauce, but it took us some time to figure that recipe out. It didn't just day one happen.
No.
It took us, call it 2.5 years to really figure out what that model was.
Hey, so check this out, right? We'll take a blast from the past and the memory lane. Right? I'll say it like this so we all on the same page, and nobody rehearsed this. Greg Olsen, do not say anything.
Uh-oh.
Greg Olsen.
I'm not sure what's about to be said here.
Greg Olsen used to perform this in training camp from what movie? We're going to say it on the count of 3. Do you know it?
Yeah.
Do you know it?
Of course.
Do you know it?
It's the highlight of the year.
Hold on the count of 3, we're going to say what movie Greg Olsen performed. 1, 2, 3. 8 Miles. Right?
It's true. It is true.
This came up last week, talking about expectations from rookies, right? When Steve left, the onus kind of perfectly fit for, like, Cam controls we never did rookie hazing.
Okay.
Coach permission. Like, we're not going to be that team. We don't haze. I said, cool. But you going to sing, right? You going to sing. Training camp, that was our thing. Introduce yourself, where you're from, how much you signed for, and you're going to sing a song.
Yeah.
That right there set the tone because guys who were entitled, they would get up there, John Doe, University of blah, 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 signed for $10 million. Hey! I'm going to sing a song. A, B, C, D, man. That was your way of earning the respect of others.
Yeah.
And I would love, because nobody knew what the expectation was.
Right.
So I said, okay, nah, Greg. It was like I was teeing it up.
We had to wait a couple days.
Like
We had to let
days.
camp unravel a little bit.
And I would always kind of get into that mode of, y'all motherfuckers don't know how to do it? I'm about to show you. So, Greg.
I'm not doing it right now.
Why not?
Cam, I love you until the end of
Now,
time.
everybody from the 3-on-3, throw your
There'll be a time and a place. This isn't the time. There's a lot of people in here. That was our safe space. That was our safe haven.
But
Cam
you want to
Newton.
know what that was about?
And I love you to the end of time.
But that.
You want to know what that was about? That was about letting the younger guys know that this is bigger than you individually.
Right.
It's about us. You walking into something, you stepping into something that's bigger than you, and if you want to be a part of it, we can build something special. You got to commit.
When you see a franchise player in Greg Olsen, it's an inclusive. It is, and I didn't want you. To
And I
do
liked
it.
you guys. And I liked you guys asking me my signing bonuses because I would always say which one.
So it wasn't that I wanted you to perform it. It was more so for me to really let you know that you set the tone for everybody to buy in.
Yeah.
Because there were so many cool kids and there were so many
especially as time went on.
Yeah.
For sure. And for Greg to perform and it be such an inclusive thing. Now you understand Rabbit. Rabbit got to be a good parent. Like those things was something where you was setting the law of the land. And the thing about it, nobody wanted to have more fun than me. But I learned from Greg that, yo, bro, if we're calling Z shallow, X cross, whatever, X short or bang A, whatever, you better know what I'm damn doing. He didn't have to have that type of threatening tone with me, but it was simple. Yo, Cam, like, what are you thinking? That was my favorite thing to hear from Greg.
How many times do you think I said that to you?
Yeah. What are we thinking?
What are you thinking?
Because
what are you thinking?
It showed up on film.
Yeah.
We created a route in Dallas.
That was great.
That was like, yo, I was thinking the same thing. They was trying to they was tracing the backside safety to show presence, and at the snap of the ball, the safety was tracing to field 3, right? So we did a lot of cat.
Right.
Well, all go, right? The quarter safety was now focusing on the over. Greg had a read route. So he's starting to run a corner and then realizing, yo, the safety's going. And it's a shake, a nod 8.
They should run like a nod 9, yeah.
Nod 9. And, yo, we completed it. In that moment where it was like, yo, it's like Greg would always catch it, put the ball down, fix his little chest strap.
Well, I was usually dying, hyperventilating.
Come back to the huddle. And we watched that film. It was like, bro, on the plane.
That was fun. Going back to have Thanksgiving at your house.
Yes.
Which is still my favorite story.
That was magical, by the way.
That was still the greatest. That's still my greatest memory in NFL history.
It was really good food, late night.
Dude, we had, the football stuff on the field was great. But at 2 a.m, coming home to your house and your aunt unravels like 500 trays of home-cooked Thanksgiving dinner in your apartment at 2 a.m.
Yeah, that was good.
Because that was incredible. You know what's funny? I use our relationship, and Stu can attest to this because we coach a lot. He coaches with me, the young kids back in Charlotte. And when people talk to me, I always say, whether it's the young receivers, the young tight ends, or even at TEU with some of our older kids, I say it is our job to see the game through the eyes of the quarterback. It's not vice versa. It was not Cam's job to say, okay, what does Greg like? It was vice versa. But our conversations, practice, walkthrough, games, between possessions, in the huddle, I would say the same simple line to Cam every time.
What do you think?
What do you see? What did you see? If we had an incomplete pass, and he overthrew me, underthrew me, tight coverage, ball, whatever it was, I dropped it, my first reaction always was, I got to make sure I was not in the wrong spot or I didn't fool him. So I would, the simplest way, we would say it 10 times a game, 10 times a practice. Tell me what you saw. What'd you see? Hey, man, I thought you were going to done. There's no debate here. This is not great. Next time, you bet your ass, that's what you're going to see. That communication, that just understanding of getting on the same page takes a long time. I use that example of us building through that over time with all the young kids that we coach, all the college kids and the young pros that we have at TEU. I use those stories all the time. And you mentioned Kelsey and Mahomes. That's them, and they just do it. They do it as good as anybody.
You see them do it, and when I watch them play, it's like we were talking on First Take this morning, and they have all these analytics and numbers, and they say, nobody's more accurate versus the zone. But I'm saying, you have to understand ball to understand that. As a quarterback, you want guys to know how to play football, right? If I'm in a zone, I don't want to run to get covered. Greg would always say, bro, if I'm open on a over 2 or a deep 288, bro, I'm going to stop.
Why would I stay open?
If I'm open, stay open. And if I'm in this window, I see what you see, I'm stopping. The completion is more important than what the book says, right? How did you learn that? Was it an education? It's the biggest face-off of the year, gentlemen. Super Bowls and Super Balls. Do not, and I mean do not allow your grooming game to get flagged for unnecessary roughness. Introducing the Beard and Balls bundle from Manscaped, your ultimate grooming MVP. This kit keeps you sharp from face to below the waist. Join the movement trusted by over 11 million men. Visit manscaped.com now and use code Cam Newton. That's right, use code Cam Newton for 20% off plus free shipping. Power starts here. Getting right for the big game or your Super Bowl party? The Beard Ball Bundle keeps you fresh from top to bottom, literally. Victory ready? Preparing for a big night out or celebrating your team's win? This bundle keeps your grooming game on point. Get the Beard and Balls bundle for 20% off plus free international shipping with code Cam Newton at manscaped.com. From a father of sports background, your father coached you, but how important and where did that knack for ball come from?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up around it and obviously my background and all that, but I would say my greatest reason, it was almost like if I didn't adapt, I was going to die, right? Like, I was not going to walk into the University of Miami and just outrun everyone and out-muscle everyone and out-lift everyone and out-sprint anyone. And that I learned very quickly in my journey that if I didn't find a way to gain an advantage over people that were physically superior than me in a lot of ways, I was not the most physically talented guy, the fastest guy, the biggest muscles, jump the highest, run the best with the ball. Like, that was never me. So, like, I needed to find ways early on where it's like, if I want to play over these guys or I want to be able to get open against Charles Woodson, if I want to, like, these dudes are in a lot of ways just better than me, how do I survive? Well, you weren't going to outwork me. You weren't going to out-train me in the offseason, and nobody was going to understand the game plan, the play calls, the defense better than me. That was my advantage. Like, I had to do that to level the playing field, and I was very comfortable with my limitations. I knew who I was. I knew what I wasn't, and that had to be my leg up to try to just keep myself alive with guys that were better than me, faster than me, jumped higher, ran after the catch, like all those things. Like, I never pretended to be something I wasn't. So, like, that doesn't take any skill. It didn't take any talent to have a really good feel for defenses and to really understand every single play on that call sheet, what everyone had to do. And like, I took pride in that, and I realized, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
What does it sound like?
How many times do you think I said that?
Bro, what did it, my strong suit as a quarterback was not reciting plays.
Can we just
in the huddle?
In the huddle?
Yes.
What does it sound like? Tell me the play. I know the play.
More than what did you see was, what does it sound like? So the play would come into the huddle, and you don't give yourself enough credit. You over the course of a game, however many you called, but every once in a while, it just wouldn't click in Cam's head.
It would be a little sticky.
It would be a little sticky. We'll just listen. We love our guy, Coach. We love our guy. It would get a little sticky.
I'm tired after
he's tired. He just got in a fight with 6 of their defensive linemen. He just MF'd the strong safety. He just told Ndamukong Suh he was going to beat him up, and we're all like, thanks. Now we got to all deal with him as we come to protect your ass. Yeah. And he did 5 celebrations. He gamed the ball away. He got yelled by Ron to get off the field. In the midst of all of that, he's like, I don't know what play they just called. So I would be like, what does it sound like? Like, just get it started. Like, is it twins right? Seam? And I'd be like, seam 678 at flat snake. Like, I got it. Like, tell me what it sounds like. Like, I got it. And
bro, that happened a lot.
But again, like
every game.
But you know what? Like, and we joke about it now, like after the fact.
That was
it's
our
funny.
team.
But like, it didn't matter. Like, it was not. It was just, let's get it right. Like, there was nothing in Cam would never be like, man, stop. Don't try me in the huddle. You make me look bad. Like, I'm not trying to make you look bad. I just want to get the play calls.
Yeah, we all trying to win the game.
Right, for sure. And I would be remiss if I didn't say or ask this question for everybody. We're away from the game, right? And whoever is led to say it first, during that era, what was your favorite game and why?
Oh, jeez. You know, I'll say this. One of my favorite days typically was Thursday. More so than any other reason.
Fellowship Thursday.
The offensive line used to do this thing. They used to do this thing where they'd come in and have lunch. And I walked in one day, and Greg was in there. You were in there at one time every now and then, and you'd stop by every now and then. Yeah. And then you'd leave.
No, I was always there. We had caviar over there.
Yeah, I know. You had taco in the Thursdays in the afternoon, after practice.
After meetings and everything.
So I would come in, and these guys were allowed to say whatever they wanted to say, and I couldn't hold it against them.
Ooh.
And it was some of the greatest conversations I'd ever heard. And the thing that I liked more so than anything else was just how honest they were about it and how much they loved it. And I thought, that made my day. So I started coming in just to sit down and listen to it.
Yeah.
That was special. Because I think the one thing people don't understand is, just like you said, that's our team. That's who they were. And a big part of it was knowing when to pull it back and when to let it run. And I said this at the beginning, you two guys weren't here, I said at the beginning, I really felt good about 2015 is when you guys took ownership. Y'all remember when he and Josh had their disagreement, and I was getting ready to lay into everybody, and you guys came up to me and said, hey, we got this. Yep. And he said, and I didn't say a word. I never said a word. You guys took care of it. And that's when I knew. I said, dang, we got a chance to be pretty special this year. I really believe that.
Yeah. And while Coach is sitting here, we talk about the players and this. If I had to summarize Coach's greatest strengths in those years, and again, with ability to reflect back, and you're not living in the moment, you're not living in the intricacies of every single day and day out, like looking back, and I would love to hear you talk on it. But like, I think there's two spectrums of coaches in the NFL. We've probably all had some combinations of all of them. There's the ones that their only job and their only hope is to like be your buddy, they're your pal. Hey, it's like overboard that I got your back. Yeah. And like you're very comfortable around them, but they're almost more of like your buddy than they are your coach. Yeah. Like that can be dangerous at times. Then there's the other side where it's like, I hope I don't walk down the hall and get trapped one-on-one with them because I'm super uncomfortable. Like they make me uncomfortable. I don't really want to see them in a one-on-one setting because I don't know what to say. They're not approachable. Like I think Ron draw up defenses, coverages, sure, all of that. Who cares? I think the greatest strengths of Ron that allowed you to be you and allowed you to be you and me, that all of our personalities could work and we didn't all have to be the same. Right. Ron, you were equally fearful and respectful of his approval, that he was in charge. The buck stopped with him. That was very evident. But you never were afraid to sit down and shoot the shit and have a good time and let the guard down and let him just be coach. We didn't have to live in fear of walking on eggshells, but there was no mistake, like the buck stopped there. We had clear leadership, we had clear vision, and it was our job to make sure we kept everything. Like that's such a unique combination that I think a lot of coaches struggle to find that balance. Like if I had to summarize Ron and our time there, like that would be the best way I would classify it. And I think that was the beauty of the job you did with all the personalities you had to figure out.
Yeah, you met everybody where they were. Yeah. Like
yeah,
my personality is very like even keel for the most part in the building, and your demeanor to me was, oh, let me come down to where Johnathan is, right? And then when you go right next door to Greg, it's high energy. It's like, well, I got to be ready to talk to Greg. Juice. Yeah. And then Cam, you have to be ready for all of it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Because Cam is all of it. Yeah. But one of the things that also, like, you allowing him to be who he was, it broke all the chains for all of us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because he's our leader. Yeah. And so when you're able to break the chains of our leader, that means we can fully give ourselves to follow and be there for the guy that's leading us into battle every single game.
Bro, that wasn't, and since we're on this point, it was like, it's not like that everywhere. No. Because you went to Seattle, I went to New England, and I thought that player-coach relation, whatever you want to call it, wasn't getting that with Bill.
Like, hey, bud.
You wasn't getting that with Bill. Bill was one of those guys that, bro, it was an organization, a great coach, but it was an organization based off of production. How do you know your job? Do your job. There's a Patriot way. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, fucking quarterback can't even fucking complete a fucking slam. What are we doing? Like, but then you go before that. You're with a coach that literally, like, we shooting the shit, and it's like, yo, bro. Coach Rivera walks in, and it's like, we look, and then he gives us the approval, like, no, y'all keep going. Yeah, you're good. It's like, yo, okay. And then, like, everybody's laughing, and you look back, he's laughing too, and it's like, yo, I fucking love it here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then that just puts you on this type of way, like, yo, those were the good old days. And we could, there was 100% out of 100% chance that I was going to go talk shit to TD. That's how I got going. It's like, TD, fuck you. Bro, man, coach, man, get him from over here. He can't talk. Man, I'm getting my reps, bro. Stop doing it. Like, I needed TD to really get me going. I wanted him to say, bro, you playing like shit today. What? Say less. Boom, now I'm dialed in. We had the most toxic team at times, but we knew how to work together. We respected each other's. Hey, fam. I remember Michael Orr. Hey, fam. Hey, why you doing all that celebration, fam? Like we don't do that, fam. And I was just explaining to him and Trey Turner, Ryan Khalil.
I saw Trey Turner at the airport.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like just that combination of team, Peggy Handgarner,
yeah.
Jordan Gross, these guys that if they walk by you may not necessarily know, but this guy allowed everybody to be themselves.
Yeah.
And for that right there, it has made me a better businessman. It has made me a better father. It has made me a better person just because I don't expect me and other people. I take what other people do and I push them to that greatness because I found somebody in my life that allowed me to be me and push me to my own. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Before I leave, I got to be at something at 3:30. Can I tell one more story?
Please.
It's a Cam Newton story. So this is going to be this is a real story though. And Stu was there when I told this story. So Stu and I coach middle school football back at Charlotte Christian. It's a blast. Yeah. Stu loved it the most because he got to coach some of the best players on the team.
Yeah, we had a guy named Sawyer who was a dog.
Kids, if the kids are watching this, they're going to tell you that you're glazing. That's what they always accuse. The kids killed Stu. But, I mean, the kid he coached.
Zip his pants back up when you're done.
So early in the year, we're trying to set, these are expectations. Some of these kids had never played football before. We had some really talented kids, but football was new to them, or football in our world of football was a little new to them, what we asked them, what we expected. So we called the kids in, and I said, I'm going to tell you guys a Cam Newton story. So this is the story I told. And from this point on, they really understood it. And Stu was there this day. I was talking to the skill guys. We weren't catching the ball, finishing at practice. It was a lot of laziness. It was a lot of – and I said, there was a time where obviously we ran the quarterback as much as anybody in NFL history, especially at the time, where if we had a 6-play run period, early on, maybe play 2 and play 4 called for Cam to keep the ball. And I was telling the kids this story. I said, but you know what was happening? Between playing 2 and 3, Cam would run wherever the ball was marked. If we were on the minus 25, it was a 75-yard touchdown. If we were on the minus 40, it was a 60-yard touchdown. And this was every single time he ran the ball in practice. And in the beginning, it was kind of like, come on, Cam, get back. Come on, Cam, get back. But then it really turned out to setting the bar that if our best player and the MVP of the league, if he can run 70 yards on a Wednesday practice after he was just player of the week on Sunday, your little 14-year ass can run. I don't need you to run 70 yards, but you can run full speed the whole day because you're 14. I said, so we had to change our practice because our best player, to keep practice flowing, Ron would say, you have to book the last plays of the period as Cam's plays, because now if he wanted to run 350 yards down the street, good. By the time he gets back, the defense will take their reps. We all stand on the sideline like, he's going to be tired as hell, but that's not our problem. And by the time he came back, and I use that example to all of our kids all the time. When you're best players, we have to alter practice because we can't get you to not run full speed. We have to say, okay, Cam, you have to stop sprinting 70 yards for a touchdown in the middle of practice and slowing us down, that we had to change practice. If those guys can do it at that level, there's no excuse for anyone else. Yeah. And that's my best story to these young kids, and they're like, I get it.
And the point about that, too, is this did happen last season, where a quarterback was so tired he took himself out.
Yeah, there was a conditioning.
He never took himself out.
No,
that was one thing. It didn't matter how far he ran, how many people tackled him, who chased him, or what he did. He came right back to the huddle, and you would say, he's not even winded. What the hell? Yeah. But that was because of the conditioning. And once we figured it out, hey, like I said, put that at the end of the script. Okay,
did it alter practice? Yes. In the beginning, were we eye rolling because we wanted to get in and get to lunch? Yeah, but it was us. It's what worked. We adapted. The lessons that came from that, it started as an inconvenience, and then it turned into an identity. And it was. I just thought it's a perfect snapshot. And I could tell stories about Stu and watching him get tackled on the field, and I'd be like, oh. Yeah. And he'd be like, I'm like, you okay? He's like, yeah, what's the matter? I'm like, oh, no, nothing, man. I just saw 9 guys put the helmet.
You know what's beautiful? He got up the same way.
I guess we're good. He got the same way no matter what.
Same way no matter how he got tackled, up the same way, and it was slow and very deliberate.
Yeah. Oh, trust me.
And
I was
never tied his shoes.
Yeah, that was the other thing, too.
Shoes
how did he run with
tied.
the shoes like that?
They were like,
bro, y'all know my feet. Them feet,
hey,
them feet
we're
was
feet bros.
Feet bros.
Feet bros. We've traded a lot of moments over shoes. But I hate to do this. I have to be at somewhere at 3:30, but I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't come see you guys. Listen. I love you guys, all of you. I get to see Stu the most, Ron the second most. I see you once a year at Super Bowl, but I'll take whatever I can get.
First off,
like
gotta make that more.
Hold on, stop.
What? Is that not fair?
You're about to leave, and we're done here.
What?
But if there's ever another get together, and I'm not in attendance. Bro, that.
Give me a hug. I don't set.
We can get all of y'all.